Hello everyone, in this video we are going to have a look at the concept of constructor in object-oriented programming. So if I create a class and I'm going to call it car, okay, and I give it two variables, okay, and let me just make this public, by the way. So make it public, and after that let me create a car. Okay, I'm gonna create an integer for the model, and I'm gonna create the name. Okay, what else can we go with? A name. Alright, a name. Perfect. So if I go in the main function and I create a car and I call this car 1. Okay, my object's name is car1. Okay, and I want to create this car. Okay, it's created already, but I want to give it a model of maybe 2003 and a string name of BMW. Let's just go with that for example. So I'm going to say car1 dot model is equal to, actually it's a string, 2003 model, and the name, sorry, you have to say car1 dot name is equal to BMW. Now if I go ahead and say car2, create another object, and then I can go ahead and say car2 dot model is equal to 2022, and car1 dot name is equal to a Honda. So it's a Honda. Alright, so we have initialized these variables as well, or not initializing, I'll say, like, put some data inside of these variables right now. So we can now access these. This is a mistake, sorry. I can say car2 dot name, print that out, and then I can run this program just to find out that it would print car2's name, which is a Honda. Now the thing with constructors, what constructors are, is that they are special functions inside a class which allow you to initialize the variables when you declare or when you declare a class. When you create a class, you can initialize the variables as well. That's what they allow you to do. So instead of going car1 dot model, car1 dot name, I can, if I use a constructor, I can just say car1, and automatically it would know the model, or it will put in a model and put in a name for that object. So give you an example. Constructor. Okay, the syntax, we're going to create a constructor right now. The thing with constructors is that they are always placed inside the public section. They are never placed in the protected, never placed in the private sections. They are always inside the public sections of the class. Okay, so now we create a public, they're in the public scope, and in order to create a constructor, you use the same name as the class. Okay, the name must be the same as the class, and because it is a function, it has these brackets as well. Okay, and of course it has these as well. So it's a function. Now what this does is that now basically we have created a constructor right now, and we can go ahead and say model is equal to unknown, and I can say name is equal to, actually sorry, name should have been unknown, and the model should be we're just going to initialize it to 0. Okay, now this is what I call a constructor. Now since we created a constructor, whenever I call this class, then the model would be equal to 0 and the name would be equal to unknown. Okay, so I'll give you an example. So say car, and I'm going to say car1. Now I'm not going to say car1 dot model. Okay, I'm just going to say car1. Okay, now we initialized it, and once we did initialize it, the model has become 0 and the name is unknown. So I can go ahead and say cout and say car1 dot model, and I'm going to see out it again, and I'm going to say car1 dot name. I've got the endl. Once I compile this, spelling mistake, syntax error, you can see that it has given out a 0 for the model and an unknown for the name, despite us not going ahead and saying car1 dot model is equal to 0. We didn't do that in the main function, but it already knew that the model is 0 because of the constructor. What the constructor does is, once you create a class, it automatically assigns some stuff to the variables. Like here, we're telling it, once we create the class, okay, assign the model 0 and assign the name a value of unknown. So that's what it has done. We can also change this into maybe BMW like that. So now it's not going to be unknown, it's going to be model 2000. So we can go ahead and just compile this once again, and you can see that it's 2000 and BMW, right? So that is just something about constructors. They are placed inside the public scope of a class, and they have the same name as the class itself, and they never have a return type. This is something you have to know. You can never say return something inside of a constructor, and also you cannot say void or car like that. You cannot say that because that's not the syntax of a constructor. They don't have a data type. They're special functions. You can of course go ahead and say cout like that, and you can say that class created. So whenever the function is created here, okay, whenever I say car1, then this basically, whenever a constructor is a function that is called whenever a class is created. So now this function is going to be called whenever I create. So if I go ahead and right now say, sorry, not that, I have to recompile it first. So I compile it, now it's compiled, now I can run it, and it says class created. So it made models 2000, name BMW, and it has cout class created. Alright, so that's what it is. Now this is just a normal default argument constructor. This is called the default argument constructor. What if when you are constructing, you want to when you're creating an object, then you want to assign your own model and your own name inside of the class? What would you do then in that case? Well, in that case, you'd use something that they call a parameterized constructor. Okay, a parameterized constructor means a constructor that has parameters inside of it. So we can go ahead and say car like that, and we're going to say model is equal to, and we're going to say name is also equal to, and here we're going to put some parameters inside. So the model, I'm going to say int m. I'm going to create the first parameter m. The second parameter I'm going to create, it's actually a string n. And for name, now I'm going to say m is equal to m, model is equal to m, and name is equal to n. Simple as that. Now this is a parameterized constructor. What that allows you to do, what the parameterized constructor allows you to do is it allows you to create, add your own model and add your own name when you create a class. So this is the default way of creating a class, but we can also do this. We can use a parameterized constructor. So we would use these brackets, and inside of it I can put the model. So I'm going to say the model is 2025, and the name is maybe Toyota. like that. Now once I create this, I want to see out this, see out car1 dot name, see out endl car1 dot model. Okay, and I compile it, hopefully no errors, perfect, and then I run it. It's going to give us Toyota 2025 because we initialize this. Now we use two constructors. The one that is called is the one that we the one is parameterized, the one is is default. This is called the default constructor, this is called the parameterized constructor. Now depending on which one gets called first depends on which one you use. So if I were to remove these brackets here, now it's gonna call the default one because I haven't specified any parameters. So if I compile it again, it's gonna say BMW and 2000 and class created as well. Should have been an endl right here, endl. Okay, so this has to be, yeah, alright. So you can see class created BMW 2000, so it called this function, this constructor. So that's just about constructors. These are just used to initialize variables at when you create a class, and they are really helpful. Thanks for watching.